Good morning, Britain. Now, the crisis in gas supplies has led to one government minister warning us to prepare for higher prices long term. So far, at least 9 energy firms have gone bust, with more expected to follow.
Boris Johnson says the problem will be temporary, but many campaign groups warn the price surge will push more families into fuel poverty. We're joined now from Westminster by Business Minister Paul Scully. Good morning to you, Mr Scully. Thank you for joining us this morning. Can I just read out one of the messages we've had this morning from one of our viewers? This is from Jules. He said, I was notified last night that my energy company, Green, had collapsed. It happened before, and my monthly payment went from £55 to £134 in a matter of weeks. I now don't know who I'm going to be with. Now, as you will point out, there is a cap in place which will protect the prices from going too high. But undoubtedly for Jules and for lots of other people this morning, a lot of people are watching their prices surge by some people up to £400 on their cost of their fuel bills. Something that they would look towards the government and saying, look, this is an unprecedented period of time with this surge in the wholesale cost of gas. Please step in, please support us, please protect us, because we're coming towards a Christmas where we know people are going to be choosing between paying their fuel bills or putting food on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we know this is going to be a tough winter. There are companies that leave the market each and every year. So Ofgem have a well-tried and tested formula of moving people into a supply of last resort, because what we want to do, we do want to step in and first of all protect that continuity of supply. So Ofgem will do all that work for your viewer of swapping them. And so actually your viewers, if they are in that situation, I would suggest they maybe take a meter reading, take a photo of their meter if possible, to be able to come back and get that.
They want you to step in and not be in this position in the first place. They want you to step in and support some of these businesses that up till now have been working very nicely for them, have been providing them with low energy bills, which is just what they needed to make all the rest of their bills and to make their monthly balance sheet work out.
But also, well, what I was going to say, the second bit of protection where we're stepping in is indeed in the prices. And you talked about the price cap that will help people in saving up to £100 a year on dual fuel bills, or where they could have otherwise gone. And we also have the warm homes discount for the lowest price, because you talked about people making choices and difficult choices in these difficult times. We want to make sure that we're protecting the lowest paid as well. So people on some aspects of pension credit and the lowest paid do get
will you be extending the criteria for families that qualify for the warm homes?
So we're extending the warm homes discount to £150. That's going to bring an extra 780,000 people households into saving their bills each and every year.
So more families are going to be able to claim that warm homes discount.
Yeah, an extra £780,000 is going to get £150 knocked off their bills each and every year. But it's important that we actually tackle the situation now, and that's why the Secretary of State has worked with and been calling Ofgem and the bosses of each of the energy companies pretty well on back-to-back calls over the last weekend throughout to make sure that we can work through what we know is going to be a difficult winter.
750,000, I think you mean 750,000 homes are going to benefit from the £150.
It is households, yes.
There's 1.9 million people already have been served with energy suppliers that have gone under. And that's only going to get worse, isn't it? So actually, 750,000 is it's a mere drop in the ocean for the people that not only are facing the need for a warm homes discount, but also are probably going to be facing the reduction of the universal credit uplift as well, which is coming. I mean, that's another huge impact on those families.
Well, first of all, I mean, I'm not sure it's a drop in the ocean, because those households are amongst the lowest paid households in the country. So it's really targeting that support to the people that need it most. But you talk about universal credit, and again, it's a difficult situation. We had an uplift in universal credit throughout an emergency, throughout the pandemic, to make sure that we can have that instant support for them. It did its job well in doing so. But now we have to look at what more we can do, and looking at the public finances as a whole. What the Labour Party said to us yesterday in the questions that I was in, and other interventions, is they're asking for a change. They're asking for no change, but they're not giving us an answer about where the £6 billion is going to come from.
It's not an emergency. We're in an energy emergency right now.
Well, that's why we're supporting. We got targeted interventions specifically in energy. Whether we've got the price cap, as I say, we've got the warm homes discount, we've got seasonal cold weather payments as well. But they are targeted. The price cap's targeted at 15 million households, but the others are targeted at those people that are most in need.
Paul, the problem is people being hit on all fronts, aren't they? They're facing food shortages, warnings from Tesco and other firms saying that there's going to be panic buying up to Christmas. They can't get supplies through on Turkey. Christmas is looking in doubt. The Prime Minister says it'll be fine, but he did say that last year and it wasn't. We have senior members of the NHS and hospitals around the country saying, in many ways, the pressure is worse now than at the worst in the height of the pandemic. Because of the backlog and the future. And now people are terrified about how to stay warm to, fuel their homes. So you say that universal credit was there for an emergency. This is an emergency. And on all sides, all parties seem to agree that extending that would be sensible. Why aren't you?
Well, first of all, please don't let me don't think that I'm or the government are underestimating the situation that is here, which we're tackling at pace. We're working with the various sectors, energy, the supply chains that you were talking about. But the universal credit, as I say, it's £6 billion. That would actually mean putting a penny on income tax and 3 pence on fuel. So we have to look at the public finances as a whole, which the Chancellor does each and every time he has a budget, and we've got the spending review and budget coming up on October the 27th, so in a few weeks' time, when he'll look at public finances as a whole.
So your argument is there are better ways to help people. Is that the argument? Because I've not heard that made by other people. They say it's something that could be extended for longer to help those most in need, and working people as well, people that are trying to do what the government wants and be a good citizen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, talking about working, clearly we want to make sure that those who aren't working, we can match up with the record amount of vacancies that are out there at the moment. There are jobs out there. We want to make sure that we can work with people through our job centres and other agencies to get people better matched up. We want to work with people to make sure that they can take up more hours as well. To extend their jobs, their careers in that regard as well, and have less reliance on universal credit. But nonetheless, we want to make sure that those who still do depend on government support get targeted government support, and that's why we're increasing the national living wage and the national minimum wage. We're increasing tax thresholds so people can keep more of their money in the first place. But also we're offering that targeted support through in energy terms, in terms of the price cap, in the warm homes discounts and other seasonal cold weather payments that are targeted very much at the lowest paid in society.
I'm sure, like any other person involved in business, you're disappointed that the Prime Minister hasn't come back with a trade deal from those bilateral talks with Joe Biden from the US. You know, Liz Truss, when she was Trade Secretary, said that leaving the EU was a crucial step to getting that deal. We've left, we haven't got one. What's gone wrong?
I was told during the referendum debate that we're not going to get any trade deals. They'll take 7 years on average. They're going to take forever. We've had 60 since we've left the EU. So we've been getting trade deals in at a pace. Now, clearly, the American market is really important for us, and we have had significant successes in increasing market access, because it's not just about a single free trade agreement, it's about market access and what more we can do. So we've resolved a 20-odd-year-old argument between Boeing and Airbus, which affects the aerospace industry, which provides really high and skilled jobs in many parts of the Midlands, in Northern Ireland, in Scotland and Wales, and other parts of the country as well. We've reintroduced beef into the North American market, reduced tariffs for Scotch whisky, which is a huge export for this country. So there's some significant victories that we've had in talking with America. And we'll keep on talking clearly with them to extend that into a free trade agreement.
OK, Paul Scully, we're going to have to leave you there. Thanks for your time this morning.